Sheilas and fellas, today we are pulling up to Costco and for the very first time we are going to be buying a pre-built gaming PC.
No!
Yes, that's right, with DDR5 RAM costing $700 and M.2 storage going through the roof, we are going to see if the time has finally arrived where it is now better to just buy a gaming PC outright from one of these big companies as opposed to just building one yourself. Let's get to it. So we are outside of Costco and people are looking at me funny because it is December, it is freezing, I am in shorts, but check out the drip, ladies and gentlemen. We have the $10 slides on that we got from Target and we are rocking the long socks with the child's cartoon Bluey on them that my mother got me for Christmas. What is wrong with us? What's even worse is Costco doesn't allow animals inside, so we couldn't bring Hank. We've instead brought our stuffed pet Dachshund Frank with us.
What?
And FYI, we are a 30-year-old man, so yes, I need therapy, but let's go see what Costco has to offer us. So right as we walk through the door, we are blinded by rainbow ARGB. This is the first PC on display when we get inside, and look at it, mate. It comes with an AIO and 4 fans along with this ARGB strip down the bottom, which of course adds 10 FPS to all games. Now, it is from iBuyPower, which is a well-known pre-built company, and looking at the specs, great heavens, it has a 9800X3D in it. I was not expecting to see this when I first walked into Costco. It also comes with an RTX 5070 that has 12 gigabytes of VRAM, 2 terabytes of NVMe storage, which is great, 32 gigabytes of 5200 mega transfers per second RAM, which is absolutely atrocious, and finally a 750 watt power supply, which is pretty meh, and all for 1,499 US buccarinos.
Nice.
Down from 1,899. Now, if this was normal times, I would say we could probably easily beat this build using brand new parts if we did it ourselves, but we are in one of the worst eras of PC building. So if we take the average price of buying everything online brand new right now in these Ramageddon times, it would likely cost us close to $2,000 to build this thing. And even if we take the RAM and M.2 down to about $100 each, which is what we could have got it for before everything got so crazy, you still wouldn't be able to build a PC with all brand new parts. You'd likely have to go the used or open box route. So this is actually a very impressive deal. Looking at the display model here, the GPU in the PC is the PNY 5073 fan design, which isn't bad at all, mate. We've used it in the past and we've had good experiences with it, and it has great cooling. The motherboard looks to be MSI. I have no idea what the RAM is, but in terms of price to performance, this baby might be the way to go. But let's go have a look at a couple of other PCs. Next up, sitting right next to it, is this CyberPower PC. Now, I must warn you, it is an 8GB RTX 5060, which I'd never recommend, but the price on this thing is unreal considering the specs and current market conditions. 849 United States hamburger dollars, and it comes with 32 gigabytes of RAM, 2 terabytes of NVMe storage, an Intel Ultra 5 CPU, which most people hate, but with the hate aside, it's quite good for gaming and productivity.
Liar!
And a 600 watt power supply, which is a bit lackluster if you wanted to upgrade down the line, but it's perfectly fine for a 5060. Now, I am telling you right now, no matter what you do, you would not get close to being able to build this thing brand new. It is actually really good value if you're on a budget. I don't think it edges out that 9800X3D build, but let's keep looking. If we keep going down the line, the only other 2 PCs we found in store was this MSI Codex 5060 Ti 8GB for $1,199. Absolutely not, mate. Get away from me immediately. But then they also had this MSI Aegis, which is pretty intriguing. It has a Ryzen 9 9900X, an RTX 5080, 2 terabytes of NVMe storage, and 32 gigabytes of RAM for $2,199.
Damn, boy.
Now, honestly, this isn't bad value either, but aesthetically, I don't think it looks the best, and we did come here to get the best price to performance PC possible. So if you'd be kind enough to give me a drum roll, please. And we went with the iBuyPower PC. It's in the back of the car with Frank on top of it. It's the one with the 9800X3D and the RTX 5070. The fact that it also comes with 2 terabytes of M.2 storage when storage costs like $700 for 500 gigabytes alone, and also 32 gigabytes of RAM for a total cost of $1,499 United States dollars. For December 2025 in the US, that is pretty incredible value, and it looks pretty good as well. But honestly, I think that $800 5060 might have been better value, especially for you budget gamers out there. So let me know down below if you want me to pick it up and review it at a later time point. But in the meantime, let's get this baby home immediately and start tearing her apart. So we are back in the studio and Hank is freaking out because we have a pre-built here, which means one thing. His PC building career is over. I'm sorry, mate, but times are tough. Your building career has come to an end. This hot dog is officially cooked. Time for the big reveal. Let's remove the box and here she is with the included peripheral e-waste. Gaming mouse and keyboard. Yes, I'm sure it's going to be very good. We will test this rubbish later. Let's get the glass cover off and take the foam out for the actual big reveal. And look at this, mate. It's actually completely different to the display model at the store, which is pretty surprising. First of all, this one comes with 3 reverse blade non-ARGB fans down the bottom, whereas the display model did not have any fans at all down there, so that's pretty good, I guess. Why they wouldn't include ARGB fans to match all of the other ones is pretty baffling. It actually looks kind of weird, but whatever, mate. Next up, the GPU is completely different compared to the in-store display, and the RAM is a different brand as well, so let's place it down on its side and start ripping stuff out for further examination. Starting with the GPU, and as we pull it out, you can see this is a 2-fan Asus RTX 5070. At a closer examination, it's not a bad looking card at all, and Asus is a very good GPU brand, but the PNY model in the display model was a 3-fan card, which, to be honest, filled the case out a bit better due to its length. This one is a bit stubby, but in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter. I've worked with both of these cards in the past, and they were fine and had good cooling, but let me know down in the comments which one you would prefer and why. Also, let me know if you have purchased this pre-build, did it come with a different GPU compared to these two? Because I am very interested to see how many different cards they cycle in these gaming PCs. Next up, let's remove the AIO by unscrewing these 4 screws and seeing how much thermal paste these companies put on, or if they're extremely stingy. And would you look at this, mate? This is disgraceful. There is barely anything on it, you stingy buggers. If you are an OG of the channel, you would know that Hank and I put a disgusting amount of thermal paste on our CPUs. You definitely don't need that much, but this seems pretty light. Get it together, iBuyPower, you cheapskates. Pulling out the RAM, these sticks are from XPG, which I haven't worked with before. Now, the box said they were supposed to be 5,200 mega transfers per second, but we actually got kits clocked at 6,000 mega transfers per second. So that is pretty good, I suppose, but sweet mother of pearl, look at the timing. CL48?
Brother, this guy stinks!
That is insane! I didn't even know DDR5 RAM could have such low latency. Now, if you're not a sweaty virgin like me or Hank who wants to min-max every part of their PC, in the world of PC elitists, ideally a CL of 30 or 32 is what you're aiming for with DDR5 RAM. The slowest most people would want to go if they had a choice is CL38. You can save a bit of money on that, so these speeds are absolutely atrocious. Now, will it make a huge difference? Meh, it's not the end of the world. 99% of normal people who don't have MSI Afterburner open and track their FPS 24/7 probably wouldn't notice a difference, but it's still insanely low for enthusiasts. But unfortunately, this is the type of nonsense you get buying a pre-built, so keep that in mind. Looking at the motherboard, it's an MSI Pro B650 VC Wi-Fi. Overall, it's a pretty basic board. The rear I/O is actually pretty good though, with 7 USB 3s, a USB-C, and Wi-Fi 6E, mate, but the VRMs are pretty minimal for a 9800X3D. And if we look on Amazon, it is also available for 130 United States cheeseburgers, so definitely not high-end, but it's a pre-built, mate. As I've said before, what do you expect when you're buying one of these things? If we take out the M.2, it's from Crucial, which is owned by the evil company Micron, who decided to only sell their RAM to AI data centers. We hate you, mate. It's a 2TB Gen 4 drive, so at least it's Gen 4. They currently sell for $221 on Amazon, which is absurd for 5,000 megabytes per second read speeds. But this is the market we are in thanks to AI slop. It's not an awful drive, but again, it's not amazing either. It's just meh. But now that we've taken this beauty apart, it's time to throw everything back together so we can check the dreaded power supply. Now, I do not have high hopes when it comes to pulling this power supply out, and as we do, we can see it's a Raid Max 750 AE 80 Plus Gold. Now, this thing is $59 on Amazon, and you've probably thrown up in your mouse if you're watching this video, but this is Tier C on the PSU tiers list, and I'd argue Tier C is all you need for any gaming PC. Nope. Mate, be realistic. You are playing 1080p Minecraft, not piloting the Mars rover. But feel free to yell at me in the comments. Is Raid Max acceptable for a 1,499 gaming PC build? Or are you on the floor convulsing at how bad this truly is? So now that we have done the breakdown, it's time to turn this beauty on. Hank is ready to see this bad boy in action because he wasn't with us at Costco. Give me 2 firm handshakes, kind sir, and let's get this party started. And there she is. She's looking pretty good. It's preset to rainbow ARGB puke just the way we like it. There is no button or remote to alter the ARGB on this thing. You have to do it through the motherboard, which kind of sucks. The power button is this big bad ARGB thing up here, which is an interesting choice, but it looks kind of alright, I guess. Hank obviously hates it because he didn't build it and he has now been replaced by some 8-year-old kid in China building this in a factory. But overall, it doesn't look too bad. It would have been better if the fans down below were ARGB, and mate, the most soul-crushing thing about this build is it has no infinity fans either, but you pay pennies, you get peanuts, mate. Let me know down below, just aesthetics alone, we paid $1,500 for this. Did we get ripped off or do we deserve infinity? The cable management is okay at the front. They don't use extensions or anything to save money, so it is very generic. But when we take the back off, this is when this iBuyPower PC flexes. Look how nicely the cables are tucked in. Personally, I am very impressed, but I am very easy to impress when it comes to cable management, mainly because we are the worst cable managers on YouTube by far. Now, the last thing I will say about this pre-build is the fans are terribly loud. Listen to it when we put the camera up close. And mate, that probably doesn't even do it justice. This thing sounds like a jet engine taken off, but when I was playing games with headphones on, I didn't notice, so meh. Now, before we benchmark it, we need to test out the peripheral e-waste. the hardcore gaming mouse and keyboard it comes with. It's called the Chimera KM7, whatever that means. Here is the mouse. It's not too bad, has a lot of different buttons. It clicks nicely and it plugs in via USB. I mean, my expectations for this were so low that I'm actually surprised that it isn't awful. The keyboard is actually very interesting. It's a membrane keyboard, so it feels surprisingly nice to type with. To be honest, it's actually not bad at all. Here they are in all their ARGB glory. For some reason, mine is stuck to red. I know you can change the color, but I don't know how to. So unfortunately, no rainbow ARGB puke will be spewed into our face like the PC is doing. And if you wanted to buy this keyboard and mouse by yourself, it will cost you around 30 United States dollary dues on Amazon. So if you have literally no mouse and keyboard, the fact that they come for free, these aren't terrible, mate. Just use them. Now, when you turn it on, it's pretty easy to set up. Unfortunately, you have to be connected to the internet and give them a Windows email address to set up so they can steal all of your information. Thanks, Microsoft. After that, it'll update, which takes about 20 minutes, and then we are in, baby. Surprisingly, there is pretty much no bloatware on this thing, no Norton or McAfee to begin with, but don't worry, mate. They'll try and trick you to install it soon, so watch out for that. One of the first things that should show up is the MSI driver installer. Now, here is when they'll try and coerce you into installing bloatware like MSI Center and those scammy security features. Don't fall for it, mate. The only drivers you need to install is your AMD chipset, AMD graphics drivers, PCIe network, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, SATA, and Realtek HD universal drivers. For the love of God, unclick everything else. If you go into Task Manager to check the specs, you can see our RAM speeds are appropriately set at 6,000 megatransfers per second, which is lovely. Some pre-built PCs forget to set XMP or Expo speed, so good job on that iBuyPower. Once that is done, the other thing you need to install, which in my opinion should have been on the PC but wasn't, is the NVIDIA app. The link is down below in our description, and you can see when we install it, we have to update the NVIDIA drivers, so please make sure you install it and keep it updated, and once that is done, we are good to go. So now it's time to see whether or not it's worth paying 1,500 United States bucks at your local Costco to buy a gaming PC capable of dominating games. Now, unfortunately, $1,500 in the big 2026 still isn't enough to get you a bona fide 4K PC without using features like frame generation, which in my opinion still isn't optimized to run well, as it greatly increases input delay for most multiplayer games, so I don't usually recommend using it. And for these tests, we are going with 1440p with DLSS set to quality, because DLSS has gotten very good, and when it's set to quality, I can't see any differences, mate. Now, starting off with Marvel Rivals, high settings, 1440p, and this thing ran amazingly. An average of 205 frames per second, GPU temperatures under 70 degrees, CPU temperatures under 60, and the PC is so good that even a scrub like me is getting 15 elimination streaks and aces using our waifu Wanda Maximoff. Unfortunately, the internet cut off in my house when we were playing this, and we got kicked from the game, so no MVP for us, but a great first impression for the PC. Good job, mate. Let's turn things up a notch and play a single-player AAA title, and we are going to play the best one that's ever been created in our opinion, and that is Cyberpunk 2077. We set it to 1440p with graphics set to Ray Tracing Ultra and DLSS set to quality, and this PC crushed it. An average of 84 frames per second with 1% lows of 75, which for a game as hard to run as Cyberpunk is, let's be honest, it's pretty impressive. Next up, Battlefield 6, high settings, 1440p, DLSS set to quality, and an average of 135 frames per second with amazing 1% lows. Now this game only came out a few months ago and it's pretty intensive on GPU VRAM, and for the RTX 5070 this is pretty limited relative to other high-end cards. It only has 12 gigabytes, which kind of sucks and gets hated on a lot by people, but fear not, mate. If you look at how much memory the game is using at 1440p in the top right corner, it's only going up to 9 gigabytes, so plenty of headroom right now, but maybe not ideal for future titles. But the good thing about this PC is it's very easy to take out this GPU, resell it, and buy a higher end graphics card if you want to. And mate, this PC is impressive, but not as impressive as Hank's headshots, despite the fact that he is playing on controller and has no thumbs. Look at this sweaty sausage go. Moving on to another competitive shooter that we love to benchmark, the finals. It's slowly becoming one of our favorite games in 1440p, highest settings possible, DLSS set to quality, and it runs amazing, 140 frames per second, and it looks and feels great. Hank is a happy boy with this one, and he was taking souls with the pistol. What about for you sim racing enthusiasts out there? We own our own sim rig and largely play iRacing, and this PC absolutely crushes it at 1440p, well over 200 frames per second. But moving on to a much harder to run game, F125, high settings, no ray tracing, DLSS set to quality at 1440p, and you get a crazy 230 frames per second average at Las Vegas. So overall, it runs very well and would be great for any sim rig, even in a triple monitor setup. So what about if we go to some more easy to run competitive shooters, but setting it up to 4K? Let's go to an old classic, Rainbow Six Siege. We still love to play this game. We are basically Jinxie if he didn't have any hands. Playing at 4K with the highest graphics possible, and we are pulling over 200 frames per second. Way too easy, mate. Now moving on to this next benchmark. It physically pains me to do this, but I do it for you, ladies and gentlemen. Black Ops 7. Yuck. I hate this game, but at 4K set to balance with DLSS set to quality, we are at well over 100 frames per second. Great 1% lows, very smooth gameplay for a terrible game. Get out of my sight, mate. And finally, we finish off with the one and only Fortnite, capable of being played on a potato, but for you absolute sweats out there looking for high frame rates at 1440p, if we set it to DirectX 12 competitive settings, so everything low but epic view distance, this is where the 9800 X3D shines, as Fortnite is more of a CPU intensive game, an incredible 440 frames per second. You'd surely have to be happy with that, and I know for the ultra sweats out there, you can actually optimize settings further following some YouTube tutorials that could probably get you to well over 10,000 frames per second. So if you have $1,500 and want to play Fortnite like a demon, this may be the way to go. We were absolutely destroying people in this lobby before some virgin with extra health comes and takes over 300 damage from us, but somehow survives and claps our booty cheeks. So an awful way to end the video, placing 10th overall, but a fantastic experience from this Costco PC. So what's the verdict on buying this iBuyPower PC from Costco for 1,500 US buckaroonies? Overall, in this economy, it's actually great value. Now the components inside this thing, like the RAM, motherboard, M.2 and PSU, are relatively low tier, but I can almost guarantee you would not be able to build this by yourself using brand new parts for under $1,800 right now. And more importantly, the way the future is looking for PC gamers, GPUs are likely going to get more expensive, and the prices of RAM and M.2s are not going to be coming down for a while. If anything, they're actually going to increase. So given how great the benchmarks were on this thing, crushing everything in its path at 1440p, for $1,500, this is probably the best value PC in this price range that you could buy as a pre-build from one of these bigger companies. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know down below if this is a great value PC or an absolute dumpster fire. And if you want to see me buy the $850 CyberPower 5060, yell at me in the comments. Or in the meantime, if you want to see me build an all AMD 9070 XT 9800 X3D PC for under $1,500 using only Facebook Marketplace deals, click this video in the top right hand corner. Otherwise, get out of here, mate. Me and the weenie love ya. Goodbye.